Okay, full spoiler. I'll try to tell the whole story. No one asked, but still I'll tell. Okay, the book is separated into three parts. Uh, the first is the husband. Second is uh, the female, the main character has a older sister and a younger brother. Second part of the book is the sister's husband, so brother-in-law, and third part of the book is the sister. The first part is the husband's narration, and she comes in and out like in italics, and she goes away. So this guy tells how much he hates his sister, and he tells his ideology of always going mediocre and never finding anything other than that. And he found his wife to be some nothingness of a woman, nothing discreet and nothing standing out of her. So she was easy to please, so he went with her. And one day she said she's not going to eat meat anymore. He asked why. He said that said because of a dream. And then in her dream she's going to this butcher and there's blood everywhere. There's gruesome explanations of like murdering of the butcher house, slaughterhouse, everything. It's disgusting. And then she abstains herself from her husband, and she would not indulge in any activities of marriage, pachak pachak. But then the husband pachak pachak hers against her will, marital rape. What the fuck can I say about it? There's a small segment about it, and then the later they go out to have a family dinner with the colleagues, but then it doesn't happen, as she would abstain for herself from eating meat. And the husband is angry with her, so he calls the mother, and then he calls like the father, he calls the family. They all go to the sister's house. In the sister's house they try to force feed her meat. She refuses. She gets so angry that she takes a knife nearby. Like when they try to force feed her mouth, they try to open her mouth and put food inside her mouth. She would abstain. Her father hits her, but then she gets so angry she pulls out a kitchen knife and she cuts herself. This becomes like super violent. The kids, the sister's kids, and then the brother-in-law like he grabs her immediately. He rushes her to the hospital emergency ward. In between there's this segment about her husband feeling thingy to her sister, and the sister's husband in return feels thingies for her. And then it takes her to the hospital. In the hospital she eats nothing, and then nothingness. She's super lean now. The husband is like finding her as a pain in the ass. And then the next day he goes to the hospital and he finds her sitting naked in front of everybody, just soaking in the warm sunlight and stuff. And then when he goes near her, there'll be a commotion created because of this strange activity done by her. And when he goes near her, he finds in her hand a bird, and she's bitten the bird, and there's blood dripping from her mouth, and there's this dead bird here and stuff. It's like a scene from Sister Midnight, if you've ever seen Sister Midnight. And okay, the chapter ends there. And then like, and then there's this talks about how her father has once, her dog has bit her, and then she's hated this dog, but then they have heard it from somewhere that if you eat the dog that you have eaten, this is where the stereotype comes from, that the East Asian people eat meat and stuff. I mean, there's this indulgence of that also in this. And and then her father is like a veteran, someone who has fought in the Vietnam War. Okay, and he ties this leg of the dog to the motorcycle, and he drives around like the motorcycle in circles, like 4-5 laps. He goes in full speed. The dog on that pinlet runs around the man and it's panting and it's frothing by the mouth and everything's happening. And I mean, it dies. There's blood coming out of its mouth and it dies. And they cook up, they feast in their house, they feast on this. And she says nothing has bothered her that much. She's been eating eels, oysters. She's been eating all kind of meats like bruised beef, அது இது எல்லா சாயணும். And then there's this, oh wait, second chapter is the husband, the brother-in-law. He's this free spirited guy who is based on art and has been connecting artworks, and he's been collecting in his cam recorder for many years, and he's for 10 years he's been recording something. But after what incident that has happened, everything feels meaningless to him and he finds new work. He comes across this play or something, and then it's about two naked bodies covered in flowers that really excites him. But and then it was something of the idea he has thought, but then he goes to the theater to watch it, but it isn't what he has imagined. It doesn't encapsulate his feelings. And then he had heard from his wife that her sister has a Mongolian mark on her butt. Mongolian mark is like this birthmark thing, and it's in the impression of a thumb. Okay, and this really arouses him, and he dreams about like flowers, like two like bodies covered in flowers, and him, like he imagines her and he imagines him as the two naked bodies as making out. But then this isn't some cheap titillation. It isn't all that. It's art in his interpretation, like his narration of it. And later he asks the sister to if she's willing to model for him, and she says yeah. And then he would draw flowers on her body, and she will like it, and then they'll take photo session other. And later she goes to the house. She doesn't want to wash it off. She asks him, and after that he asks like, can you come again? And then this time it is to perform his artwork with another human, them going at it together. So he asks one of his friends, Jay, whose studio that they're using, and he also paints the other guy's body with flowers, and they ask to go at it. But then this guy, after it reaches a certain point, isn't comfortable with any of it, so he retaliates and he says nah, and then he goes away. But then she's really liked it. She likes the red crimson flowers that's drawn across the body of the other, and then she's really into it. So looking at her reaction, this guy thinks he's into it, but she says no, it's the flowers. And then he asks like, if I drew flowers on me, would it be fine with you? And then she says yeah, I guess. And then he goes back to one of his old colleagues, and he asks her to draw like not colleagues, his college mate or something. And then he asks her to draw flowers on his body too, like the same style as he does them. And then she does that, and he goes back to her protagonist apartment, and as soon as he gets there, they do the devil's tango. And then I watch odd ones. Wait, what is that channel? I don't know. Okay, where was I? And then he starts recording, and then they go out at it and something, and they sleep like morning 6 o'clock the thing ends, and they sleep till evening, I think. And then the sister-in-law, her sister, like not like the protagonist's sister, she comes and she finds the recorded stuff, and she's she is a character of such complexities. And then okay, and she just she won't do nothing about it. She is absolutely like, I'm a very bad book reviewer. I feel like I can't come up with the words to describe the complexity of this character. And So she, at the end, she's just says, "I've called emergency services." It's clearly clear that you both are out of your mind and clearly need professional help. So she would have booked them. By the time the sister, she would have again become bare naked, and she's open herself against the railing towards the sun and is trying to be bathed in the sunlight. And then he goes out to see her. All the people are watching her there, and then the emergency service comes up and pulls her, takes her to the hospital. They do try to do the same to him. He tries to jump off of the railings, but then they catch him midway, and then it's insane. Okay, and then chapter ends there. The next chapter, it's it's of the sisters, and she starts it by her, like her entire family has cut her out. A protagonist, her mother and father will not talk to him. This brother is not much in the picture. Now the sister feels like as this elder daughter, she feels this need to go and protect her and do everything towards her, take care of her. She always has to fix everything. She has to fix this brother-in-law who's fucked in the head, and she tries to fix him. She tries to fix everyone, and it's boinkers. Okay, and it's about how she's coming through it, and even there's another incident where his this brother-in-law would uh, take advantage of her. I struggle to say some certain things. It's because of the taboos, and I cannot bring myself to say certain things which exposes the boundaries I've set myself to be exposed in utter solidarity. Afterwards, the rest of the story is about her in the psych ward, and she wants to cook fish, she wants to feel, and then one day goes she escapes out of the ward, and she goes into the forest, and after a few days later they find her in the forest, and there's this revelation. Then this thing she does is like she stands upside down and she says, "Oh, I found a thing. The trees do actually stand upside down. If you look at a tree, you think they're standing erect. No, I don't." And then she says, "I have transformed from being into an animal. I'm now a plant. I don't need food anymore. I don't like eating food anymore. I only need water and sunlight." And then she props herself against sunlight any place she could find. She feels like her crotch is going to start bearing flowers, and her arms and her limbs are going to turn into branches and roots. And it's a very metamorphosis and Kafkaesque theme into it. And there's also certain elements of silent patient which I felt was in the book. And I mean, it won the Pulitzer Nobel Prize in Literature. And and then there's like many other elements of the sister trying to decode why she has happened, and all the elements and all the events that she could have fixed, which would not result in her faith as such. And the sister is trying to find the path, like of all the different decisions she could have made, because as a young child her father would not, like her brother would be the Garka beta Raja beta or something, so they would not hit him, and the elder sister would always take care and have this maternal affection for her sister, and also help her mother and carry over the responsibilities and stuff. So it was usually the middle child who got all the beating from her father, who was aggressive of nature. So it would have rooted from that. There's been many incidents. There's one incident that they talk about, that they, as children, roamed into the forest, and they had gotten lost there, and the elder sister would try to find the way back home, but she would refuse to go back. She says, let's just stay out here. Then she would think, is that the point where she had lost it? Like, is that the point where she's become what she is? And how far back has this lasted? Oh, before, by the way, the husband has served her with divorce papers, and that happened like immediately after she's been discharged from the initial hospital. And she'd been going through all that, and by the end she's grown so thin, and people in the hospital are certain she's not going to make it, and they're not able to help her because this is not a special case of anorexia. They say she's having schizophrenia, but then she's not able to comply to any of it, and any medication or anything that they give her, she turns violent, and she has this intense strength in her body that's somehow not possible via her medical conditions and her given her weight and stuff. And the end, the sister says, like, are you trying to die? You're not trying to die, I know what this is. But then there's this is the last dialogue in the book. I'll show you then. The sister says, dreams, and I couldn't let myself dissolve into them, let them take over. But surely the dreams isn't all there is. We have to wake up at some point, don't we? Because then dot dot dot. Nobody knows. It's it's blank. The ending is abrupt. The ending is like, and it was reaching towards the end. I was like, please don't stop here. Please don't stop here. I want something else. I want her point of view. I really wanted to see what was going in her head. I mean, the ending was sad, but then it made sense. It didn't. The not making sense made sense. I mean, I was like hoping the book wouldn't end as like I was reaching the end. I was like, no, I don't want to turn to the next page. But the thing is, everyone is absolutely insane in here. There's no morally gray. Everybody is black, pure black, and it just disturbs me. It's quite absurd, and it's weird, and I kind of like it for that. Any artist that has that makes critics disagree, the artist in accord with himself. Oscar Wilde. No, yeah, Oscar Wilde said that. So this definitely made me have some own critics of me. I mean, the thoughts aren't independent, but it's terrifying and terrific, as the book says. Yeah, I'm gonna put this up for an audience. That's gonna be my first video. You, peace out. Actually, I don't want to make that my catchphrase. You know what's my catchphrase? Wobble up a dub dope.